So to access ODL, we want to start on the library's website. I'm using an iPad right here, but this is going to be like exactly the same as it would be using a regular computer, like a laptop or a desktop or anything like that. So the interface, the way it functions, is going to be the same. So if we start on the front here, there are a couple ways to get to the Ohio Digital Library. The easiest one is to scroll down. You can see right here, there's a link right there. There's another one down a little bit further if you keep scrolling down into our digital resources, and this is going to be all of the digital resources that we have available right now. So you can click on Ohio Digital Library there. You can also use that link up at the top. So I'm going to click right here, and it's going to open up Ohio Digital Library. This is what Ohio Digital Library looks like. If you're using an iPad, or even if you're using a laptop, it might come up with a lot of things to tell you to use Libby and download Libby. That is the most current version of how to read their books, the apps that they have to read the books. So you can read from the browser, and if you have a Kindle, we're going to use a different app, but I'll show you that eventually. So this is just what it looks like without signing in. So you can scroll down, you can see the different books they have, and I'll show you all that in just a minute. To sign in, we're going to go right here to the top right where it says sign in, and then we're just going to click that. And from here, we are going to select our library. So you click right there, and then you want to type in St. Clairsville. You can scroll down if you want to, but it's kind of a long way. You want to make sure while you're doing this that you're doing, if you're typing it in to search for it, you want to do ST dot and then space. If you type in Saint, it's not going to come up with anything. If you type in ST, it's not going to come up with anything. So it needs to specifically be ST dot. And then it'll come up with St. Clairsville Public Library. It's a little bit specific in that way. So we're going to click on that, select our library. This is important because it's your library card is specifically linked to the library you're coming from, even though it's one big consortium of libraries. From there, you type in your library card and library card number and your PIN. Right here in these two slots. This is going to look exactly the same on a laptop as it is on this iPad right now. And then all you do is hit sign in. And once you're signed in, it's going to bring you back to the front page. So this is exactly where we started. It's just going to bring you right back there. From here, there are a couple places to go to navigate, just how to search for books and how to find things to read and how to look at what you already have checked out. This is one of the ways it's going to be a little bit different. If you are on a laptop, there is going to be right over here 3 lines, and you're going to press those 3 lines and it's going to come up with a bunch of different options, and that's going to be one of the main ways to navigate on a laptop. On the iPad, as you can see here through this browser, it doesn't have that, but it's going to, for all intents and purposes, it's going to be pretty much the same. So to see the books you already have checked out, you're going to go right here. This is what you have borrowed at the current moment. So you see right here, it just came up with this. It says your loans are waiting for you in Libby. Get the free app and start reading today. So it's going to be really trying to promote that. I'm just going to hit hide on it right now. It starts you off when you press this right here. It starts you off in loans. So these are the books that I have currently checked out. It is a mystery book, and then a book about music, and then a book about cooking. So those are just some of the things I have right now. I have this one right here specifically to look at Kindle, and I can show you all of that in a bit. From here, you can look at other books you have going on or other parts of your account. So this is going to be the same as if you were to press My Account. It comes down with all of it as a list if you want to go to one thing specifically instead of going to it like here. So, but again, we are in this little library section. So if you hit hold, it's going to come up with the books that we have on hold. There's going to be a list there. We can go to wish list. I don't have any titles in my wish list, but I will show you how to access those or add those to your wish list. Related titles, I don't have any. Oh, rated titles. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Rated titles. So if you read a book, you can rate it and give it a score, and those will pop up there, and it will remind you what the score is. Recommendations. This is actually books that you are recommending for your library's digital collection. So it's not books related that recommended for you. It's actually books that you recommend. So let's say that you have an interest in a book, or like a book that you really like, and you find that we don't have it at the library and it's not in the system at all. None of the libraries on our consortium have this book. You can actually recommend a book for us to buy so that you can check it out and it can be in our collection. And I will show you how to do that as well. Then you can also hit history. And this is going to be, just like it says, about the history. Titles are automatically added when you borrow them. You can manually add a title. So essentially it's just all the things that you've checked out over time. And so this is just a bunch of different, I have a lot of them here that are kind of for... It just kind of tests book for these programs, and then also some other ones that just for tutorials and stuff like that. So the last one I want to go to here is settings. You can check this out. This is where you're going to change different preferences that you have in your library, or for your account. So you can actually change the lending periods for the different things you check out. For ebooks, it can be within weeks, and same with audiobooks and magazines. Videos, which I haven't seen through Libby or ODL, but apparently they say that they have it. You can change how long this is. So let's say that you're a very fast reader and you want to pass along books and fairly quickly. You can bump it down to 7 days. If you're a slow reader, you can have it for 21 days. Just to kind of move things along a little bit. You can also decide whether or not you want to keep track of your history. And then a couple other things. Audience. This is where you can change what types of books you're seeing in your library, or when you search. So if you have a young kid that is looking for books and you want to kind of make sure that they're not finding something they shouldn't be reading, you can change it here to juvenile. Or if you have a teen or something who wants to read a bunch of books, you can change it to that, just so it's a little more specific, so they're not they're expediting the process a little bit. And then you can also change it to Kindle preference, so you only show the Kindle book option for borrowed ebooks. So whenever you check out a book through ODL, you can choose whether or not you want to read it on the browser or in Kindle, and the Kindle preference will just make it so that's all you see. Every time you check out a book, it's specifically going to your Kindle. There's some display options as well. If you prefer high contrast, it's going to, let me show you what that looks like. It's going to make it so that things just stand out a little bit more and maybe easier to read for some folks. And get rid of that. And then dyslexic font, it changes it for people who have dyslexia so that it's easier for them to read. I'll turn that off for now. So this is what the your account section looks like. So you can hit my account, get to any of those, or you can, like we did before, hit those little books and it'll bring it up in this list here. Specifically, it'll start in loans, and that's just kind of where it begins. So now we're going to look at how to search for books or how to browse with books. So if you have a specific book in mind, what you can do is you can go up here and hit search. And I had one already checked out, but just to show you how to find it, I'll find that book that I have about music. They can't kill us until they kill us. So that's how you find a specific book. This is From there, you go and you just click on the book, and it'll bring up the information about it. You can read the information about it. You can read a sample. You can place a hold. You can add it to a wish list. Add it to history, so you can put it in the books that you've already read, even though you haven't read it. If you go down a little bit further after you searched a specific book, there are other recommendations based on it, ones you might also enjoy. So that's a specific book. You can also click on an author's name, and it'll bring up more by them. So that's exciting. This is an available book, so let me click on it just to show you. So right here, instead of place a hold, you can just hit borrow, and it's going to add it to your library. Let me just hit add to wish list, so now it's in there just so we can pull that up later. I'm also going to hit borrow just to show you what that's like. You can change here how long you want something out for. I'm cool with 21 days. I'm going to hit borrow, and then it's going to come up with read now with Kindle, or read now in browser, or download EPUB book. I'll show you all of those in a minute, but I just wanted to show you first how easy it is to check out a book, to hit borrow. So if you want to find a specific author, let's say I had it in my history, so David Sedaris. Looks like I did not spell his name correctly. And that's a kind of important thing too, is if you're looking for something, you might actually need to be pretty specific with it. So you see right here, I spelled it incorrectly, but that's because that I right there is supposed to be an E. So let me search again. Back that up. Sedaris. So now I can click on his name, and this is going to bring up all the books by him. So if you have a specific author in mind, you can actually just search by their name. Another very popular one is John Grisham. So let's search John Grisham real quick. And I can just pick his name, and it's going to bring up a bunch of books by him. So that's how you use the search function. You can sort it by the popularity, its relevance, the release date, the title, the author, the blah, 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 blah. Filters here, you can change based on availability. If you want something available now, instead of all the stuff you can put on hold, you want to read right this instant, you can just hit available now, and it's going to change it so it's only the stuff that's available for checkout right now. Nothing in this list can be placed on hold, or it could be placed on hold, but you can start reading any of them right now. If we hit filter again, we can get rid of that, so it gets rid of that as a filter. Now it's going to be the stuff that's not available as well. You can get more specific. You can change the audience. So just like we saw before for juvenile and a general adult, it also has the number of books or titles in that field. The date added. So if it's something recent, you're like, oh, I know he did something like a couple months ago, you can just do that. You can be just ebooks. You can do just audiobooks. You can do it by subject. There's more subjects, so you can get all up in there. You can change it by language, interest levels, ATSO levels, ATOS levels, Lexile measures, text difficulty. So it goes through and rates those all for you. So if you have a kid with a specific grade level reading, you can click on that. So this is grade 3 John Grisham book. So this is apparently like 3rd grade reading level. So that's exciting. That's some of the ways to explore that. You can even change the way it views, just to see more information about it, how many copies are available, etc., etc. Now, if we go to look at to the browse instead of searching something specific, we can go up to any one of these right here. So if we hit subjects, it's going to bring us all of the different subjects that are available. So if we hit, let's say mystery is a fun one. and it shows how many titles there are that fall within mystery. So it's going to be very similar to what we just saw, but instead of having something specific, we kind of just want to look around and just see what's up, see what they have out there. You can do the exact same thing and change how you sort, and it kind of filled out a couple of filters here for you for fiction and mystery. So it's easy as that. You can look at the different subjects. You can go to collections. This is where you're going to find all the different types of stuff that where you can find the different ebooks. You can find different audiobooks, magazines, videos. Let's go to magazines. Just hit a cooking and food magazine. This is some for Good Housekeeping, a lot from Good Housekeeping, Bon Appetit, Food Network, and you can just borrow those magazines and get going with it. Again, there are these same things you can change. So you can change the date added filters. So let's say you want something within the past week for Bon Appetit or something, or any of the magazines. So let's change date added to within the last 30 days, just the last month. So you can see that bumped it down to 3 results because it's only the stuff within the past month that came out. And so that's an effective way of doing that. So that's where you can browse a little bit by specifically the different type of content. So if you only want to browse through audiobooks like hot trending lessons, or you want to browse through videos or magazines, that's how you do that. Kindle books. These are going to be books that are available through Kindle. And then mysteries, which I guess is one of the more popular ones. It's going to bring up a bunch of mysteries that are popular right now. So mystery is a popular genre at the current moment. So that is how you can go back to main collection. That is how you browse. You just kind of click through these and you figure them out. You just kind of browse at your leisure. Find what looks interesting to you and just kind of explore it. So now that we've kind of learned how to search and browse a bit, let's go to a specific book, and I can show you how we navigate the book itself and what it's like to use the interface. So I'm going to open up, I'm going to open up this book right here. This is about music. It's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy this guy's writing. So let me show you that. So you have these different options, like I think I pointed out earlier. You can put Read Now with Kindle, or you can hit Read Now in Browser, or download EPUB Book. So I hit Read Now in Browser, which is going to pull up a new tab like it did right here, and you're going to pull up the book, and it's going to be very similar to the Libby interface, if anybody is familiar with Libby. So on the iPad here, I swipe with my finger, but if you're using a laptop, you would use the arrow keys on the keyboard. You would press right to swipe to the right, and left to swipe to the left. So that's how that works. And from there, it just kind of is straightforward. You start reading. That's really it. If you want to find specific passages, or you want to see where you are in the book, or you want to get some tips and tricks and stuff like that, you click down at the bottom. Let me see. It can be a little finicky on the touch screen, and then it'll pull up this right here. It'll give you a page count at the bottom. Right now it's counting them, and it can show you how far you are into the book. It shows you, so right here there's 642 pages like this. The book itself, which I have a physical copy of, isn't 642 pages. It's much less than that, but because of the way it is on the screen here, it just kind of it scrunches it up a bit so that it's not it's less words on a page. But that will show you where you are in the book. There are some options up here. And this is good. So let me click this and just show you what that does. So this actually changes the layout of the screen itself. So before it was 2 pages on the screen, whereas now it's just 1 page of text. So let me click down at the bottom again, and if I hit that, you can see it's 2 columns. it's going to switch it to 2 columns. And so it shows you what it will change to when you press it. Here you can press a bookmark, which is going to keep track of this page if you wanted to remember a passage or something like that. You can also search in the book. So in the book, I know he talks about prints. So let me type in prints, and let me hit return, and then it'll bring up all the times that he mentions prints. And then I can get rid of that by just hitting that, and then I can press done here, and it'll get rid of the search. These 3 lines you want to click on, and it's going to give you those options. It's going to give you that search. Chapters, if you want to skip to a specific one, you can look how they're titled and see what page number they're on. That's pretty useful. And then you can go back, and the bookmarks, so it'll keep track of those bookmarks. I have one on page 25. Reading settings, so here you can change the size of the text, you can change the lighting, you can change it bright or sepia or dark, so it just kind of changes the way it looks if you want to if your eyes need to focus on something else. Let me scroll down a little bit more. There's some other options here. So Scholar, it's going to change the way the text looks, legible, publisher's default, paperback. So it changes the way it looks if you want your eyes to look at something else, if it's a little bit difficult to look at or something. So yeah, and then you have offline access. You can download it. Tips and secrets. This is really helpful. You can actually it'll give you some little, look at here. So turn page ahead, show the menu, and just some little tiny helpful tips for navigating it. So that's more or less what it looks like. If we go to, if you want to get rid of this, you can just exit out right there, and it won't take away that page. So right now, let's hit listen now in browser. This is an audiobook. So just to show you what this looks like, from here, you would press play and it would just start going. There's other options as well. You can change the speed here. You can find some tips and tricks on a Libby tutorial we did a little while back. It was called Top Tips for Libby and Hoopla. It's going to be pretty similar to this. And so, again, these 3 lines are going to give you a little bit of navigation, as well as tips and secrets. And that's, yeah. And then you can also hit sleep, so that'll stop after a certain amount of time. And that's more or less how that works. So that's how to navigate reading and listening to books on the computer, on the within the browser itself. Before I go into Kindle, let me show you just the wish list, because we added this book to our wish list earlier, and it's going to be right here. And this is that's where it popped up, and it's great because if you are browsing and you find a book you're interested in, but you don't want to put it on hold, you don't want to check it out right now, you just want to kind of keep track of it, you can just hit wish list and it'll pop in there. So it's great for that. Let me go back to here real quick too, and let me show you. Let me show you how to rate a book. So that right there, I just clicked that and put 5 stars there. I really like this book, and it just to show you what it's like to rate a book. So I clicked that. Now if I go up here to rated titles, it's right there. It's going to pop up all the books that I rate, and it's going to show what I think of them. So that's where you find that, or that's what that looks like. So just to show you a little bit of what it's like to recommend a book, I'm not going to go super into detail with it, just for the sake of brevity. I want to get to Kindle as well. If you go to recommendations here on the ODL website, you can click how to recommend titles. It'll ask you what it looks like. Choose the image below that looks like the titles in your library. And so run a search in the library's literature collection, add a page, additional titles to recommend, and show me filter. So this will give you a step-by-step guide if you're finding books that the library doesn't have, but you think would be great for the library to have. So here, like if it looks like this, this is the way the titles look in the library's collection. You would go through that, and then availability, all titles coming soon. Recommend to a library. It'll tell you whether or not it's owned. Educated is a very popular book right now. And so you just give your information, and then that's how you recommend a book. So it's just very, very briefly skimmed over. I didn't really give a whole lot of detail, but that's where you find out more about it. So there you go. Now I'm going to show you how to do Kindle. So if I go over here to my loans, I had picked this book earlier. And what I'm going to do is, if I am on the website already, if I'm on my computer, I'm going to hit Read Now in Kindle. And it's actually going to bring up my like an Amazon page. And if you have a Kindle, specifically a Kindle, that means that you have an Amazon account. I think that's just kind of how it works, because Kindle is an Amazon property. And you would sign in to your Amazon account here. This is going to sync up Overdrive with your Kindle through that account. And so I'm going to put in that information, and then I will show you what it'll look like when we get that going. So once you get signed in to your into the account, it's going to look like this. It's going to bring you up to Amazon, and over here on the side, it's going to say this digital library book has been claimed. That's actually because I claimed it on another computer earlier. But read now in the Kindle app, so you can get the Kindle app. But if you are on your computer and you haven't already claimed it, you would click right here, and it would sync that up to your Kindle, and it would say, and it will sync whenever it syncs, and then you can go and read it. So that's what that looks like. Now I'm going to show you what Kindle looks like and how to navigate that a little bit. It's going to be very similar, but it's helpful to have gone over all of that first. So unfortunately, Kindle doesn't have the option to record on the screen like the iPad does, so I'm just going to have to show you this a little bit, and we'll get through this together. So once you pick a book on ODL and you click like Amazon, you get signed in and all that, and you click check it out, it will bring you to another page that will say it will sync with the Kindle Cloud Reader, and it should sync through an app called Overdrive. That is the Kindle app for reading books through ODL. With iPads and smartphones, it's Libby, Libby. For some reason, they just haven't made a Libby version for Kindle. I'm not sure why, but that's what that's going to be, is Overdrive. And so what you would do is, if you don't have Overdrive already, you would go onto your Kindle, and you would go to the App Store. And so you click that. I already have it downloaded, so you won't see that, but in the top right corner of the screen, there's that little magnifying glass for searching. Click that. Overdrive is one word. You just type that in, and you search for it, and then it'll come up with a bunch of lists, and then right here would either say get or open. I have it already, so it says open. Get would just download it onto your Kindle. It'll pull up the screen. It might be white. Mine's black because I turned it on to high contrast, because it just helps my eyes a little bit more, especially when I'm reading at night. So it's going to open up like this, and then you want to sign in. And you're going to do that by going to, if you're in the app, right here in the top, you hit that. It's going to give you a bunch of options, and you're going to hit add a library. This is going to sync you up with the library account that you have and the library card that you have. If you're downloading the app for the first time, it actually might pop up with a screen that says, like, are you doing this through a library or personal account? And you can pick sign in through a library card. You would pick that option. From here, you go to search for the name. So the name of our library is St. Clairsville. You can just search St. Clairsville. You don't really have to do anything else other than that. it's going to pop up with this right here. You click that, and then you save that library. From there, it's going to pull up the ODL website. And so this is why it was important to do this before. Kindle's gonna be a little bit slow, so mine's taking a minute. Right here is asking you if you to sign in. So this is why we wanted to use the ODL tutorial before, just so we can get used to that before we get into it on the Kindle. Here, sign up or already have a card. I'm gonna sign in. Just gonna do that really quickly. It's gonna be the same process as when we did it on the computer. You're gonna search st.Clairsville Library, Public Library. It's gonna pull that up. Then you put in your library card number. I'm going to do that, and then put in your PIN. So once you get signed in with your library card information, and it's going to be exactly the same as when you would do it through ODL, it's going to come up with the with ODL in the same exact way. So if I go to, because it's already my my account in there, it's going to be the same information I saw before with the same books. And so right now I'm going to hit this Botched Butterscotch. It's one of those Amish candy shop mysteries. If you hit Read Now with Kindle, it's again going to ask you to sign in. I was having issues with that before. But the way it should work with Overdrive is that once Overdrive syncs, it'll sync up with, synchronizes with the Amazon and with ODL and all this, and it's just kind of working together. Your titles will appear right here. It's not working for me, and I'm not really sure why. It's a little frustrating, but that's where it will pop up. And you would hit add a title, or like it would pop up here, and you would click on the book and open it up and start swiping and start reading, just like you would any other Kindle app. If you want to add a new title when you're in the Overdrive app, let me change this setting real quick so it's a little bit easier to see. That was the night color scheme. Okay, now it's going to be a little easier to see. There we go. So if you go over to the side where the 3 lines are, 3 lines, 3 dots, they are your friend to the ends of the earth. Anytime you are using just about anything, 3 lines is where you're going to, or 3 dots is where you're going to find your options. Here, you're going to hit, there's going to be the bookshelf, which is going to give you your titles. If you hit add a title, that is going to bring you to the ODL website, and so you're gonna browse and search through that to add it to your Kindle. So that's how you do that. You can also look at your account. You can change. Oh, you know what? It never signed in. I don't know why it did that. So this is what it's gonna look like when you first get the app. It's going to say sign in. So I'm gonna hit sign in, and then it's gonna say sign in using a library card. That's what you want to click right there. And then from there, you're going to do the same process as signing into ODL. You're going to enter your library name, st.Clairsville. Go. You're going to search for that. It's going to come up with these options here. You're going to press that. That's the Ohio Digital Library. That's our library. And then you're going to have to pick your library again. So go here to scroll, and it's going to give you the different options. You're going to go all the way down to St. Clairsville. It's not that long. It doesn't take that long to do. And then you're going to put in your library card information. One of the unfortunate things about using the Overdrive app and ODL is that you have to sign into it a few times. So once you sign into Overdrive, you're signing into the library, into your account, and then after that, when you go to add a title, it'll bring you to ODL, and you have to sign in there too. So if you're trying to use your Kindle and you're trying to get these apps and it's having you sign in all these times, you are not doing anything wrong. You're doing everything exactly correctly. It's just a little bit wonky. So if you show you manage libraries, it'll have the Ohio Digital Library there. Bookshelf, again, you would hit add title and it will bring you to ODL, and then it should sync up whenever you go to Amazon and you say borrow book through library. So that's how the Kindle works. Thanks so much for viewing. Try and keep up with us. We got lots of stuff going on just for you. See you next time.